All right, so here's a little review of graphing an inequality, right? An inequality means there's not an equal sign between our terms. There's a greater than, a less than, or the equal to ones, okay? So this is kind of simple, but you gotta, This is kind of simple, but you have to remember the rules, all right? So what I'm gonna show you works every time as long as the variable's on the left. All right, so greater than. X is greater than 2. Well, we have to put a circle at 2. And we're going to put a circle because there's no line underneath this greater than sign. So it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than. I'm going to show you a little trick on your face-to-face day that's going to help you remember. But anyway, open if there's no line underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one down here. This y is less than or equal to 0. So I know I'm gonna put something at 0 and I'm gonna put a closed circle because there's a line underneath it. Again, we'll talk about more y on our face-to-face day. All right, so now what do I do next? Because I'm not finished. Basically, it's asking you, where are all of my numbers that are greater than 2? Well, all of my numbers that are greater than 2 are this way. So I'm going to just squiggle, and then I'm gonna put an arrow at the end. So kind of shade in that line, color in that line a little thicker, and tell me that they go that way. If your variable is on the left-hand side, then you can kind of treat that like an arrow. It's pointing to the right. I shaded to the right. Next, p is less than -3. Well, it's just less than. It's not less than or equal to. So I'm gonna put an open circle at -3. Where are all my numbers that are less than -3? They're to the left. So I'm going to shade to the left. And I'm going to put a little arrow. But again, if your variable's on the left, you can treat that like an arrow. It's pointing to the left, so I shade it to the left. So here's where it changes. Z is greater than or equal to -2. So I'm going to -2, and I'm going to put a closed circle because that little line underneath the inequality. Variables on the left, treat this like an arrow. Let's shade that part in. You know, I'm not an artist. And then put your arrow. Sorry this table is shaking a lot. I didn't realize that. I'll try to fix it before the next video. Next, I've got y is less than or equal to 0. Got my closed circle because of the line underneath. And I need all my numbers that are less than 0. So that is this way. Again, variables on the left. So I could treat that like an arrow. Okay? So I've got some notes here. A solution to an inequality is any number that makes the inequality true. Any number that makes it true. Solving linear equations is very similar to solving equations, but there is one minor difference. See if you can figure it out below. Okay. So I've got 6 is greater than 2. Is this true? Well, that statement right there is true. Let's add 3 to both sides though. So if I do 6 plus 3, that gives me 9. And then 3 plus 2 is 9 still greater than 2? Yes, it is. Let's multiply both sides by 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6. Is 18 greater than 6? Absolutely, it is true. Oh, I'm not going in order. So that was 1 and 3. Let me go over here and do 2. Let's subtract 3 from both sides. So 6 minus 3 is 3. 2 minus 3 is -1. Oop, let me cross that out. So that should be 3 greater than -1. Is that true? Yes. Because look, 3 would be over here, -1 would be right there. That is true. Let's divide both sides by 3. Well, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 divided by 3 is just 2/3. Well, that's less than 1, right? 3 over 3 would be 1, so 2 over 3 is less than 1. So is 2 greater than something less than 1? Absolutely. Now let's divide by -3. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2. 2 divided by negative 3 is negative 2 over 3. So let's think about this on a number line. So I'm going to use this right here. So if that was my number line, all right, negative 2 would be over here. 0 would be right here. Well, this isn't quite negative 1, but we know it would be about right there. So on this one, negative 2 over 3 is greater than. So my alligator should be in the negative 2 over 3, not the negative 2. So that one is not right, okay? So let's talk. Our conclusion is simply this. What did I do? I divided by a negative number. When I did all these other things, it still was true. Oh, let's do this one first. Negative 3. So 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Two times negative 3 is negative 6. Well, again, negative 6 is farther right on the number line than negative 18. So that one's not true. So our conclusion is, when I added by a positive number, subtracted 3, multiplied by a positive number, divided by a positive number, my statements were still true. But when I multiplied and divided by a negative, it's false. So we know we got to do something when we divide, multiplying and dividing by a negative makes the statement false. So when we multiplied by a negative and dividing by a negative, it made the statement false. So we're going to figure out what to do with that on the next sheet. So I'm going to do another video for that one too. Thank you.